we're going to transition over to the tactical Galaxy S20.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's got a lot of interesting features and a very interesting market.
Mm-hmm.
So, Colton, you gotta start it off. You have to.
Do I have to start it off? Okay.
You have to.
So, Samsung. I'm not going to say they partnered with the U.S. military, but they have designed an S20 Tactical Edition for the U.S. military. And, it has the regular specs of a Galaxy S20, just to go over that real quick. 6.2-inch display, 1440 pixel display, Snapdragon 865 processor, 12 gigs of RAM, 128 gigabytes of expandable storage, and a 4,000 milliamp hour battery. And then they slapped it in this very robust case. Let's see, what is this made out of? Does it say the material it's made out of, Austin?
This is a very short article on Engadget
Yeah.
that we have here, and this is the best article we saw for this.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't really go much past the phone's specific stats.
Yeah.
And I think that's because they mentioned that this phone is encrypted with 2 different layers of encryption
Yeah.
security. And that's because the idea is to be able to have top secret data within this phone.
Right.
So I don't think they want to give away the outside material.
Okay, fair enough.
Maybe to make it, a little harder to break in if they don't know what they're working with kind of thing. I don't know for sure.
Right. And
I mean, it looks like an OtterBox on steroids.
Yeah, just looking at it, it looks like it's a rubber case inside of a plastic or maybe even metal case. I wouldn't be surprised if it was metal, especially considering how massive that hinge is.
That's huge.
Yeah. So, if you guys head over to Engadget.com and look this up, the title of the article is called Samsung Made a Galaxy S20 Tactical Edition for the Military. It's a super robust looking phone. It's, case, I must say. But the phone inside does have different encryptions than a regular S20, simply because it's for the U.S. military. But yeah, it's just something super cool to look at, because it's not something you really see. And actually, going back to the U.S. military thing, if I'm not mistaken, I think Google Glass had an enterprise project with the U.S. military, if I remember that correctly. Just a slight little revert back to Google Glass there. But yeah, it's super interesting. Yeah, it's super interesting.
So what do you think about this approach? Do you think it's good? Is it bad?
So it's obviously one of the best phones on the market, especially in terms of battery life for the specs. And I feel like battery life is a huge deal when it comes to, military missions and stuff like that. You don't know how long you're going to be out there, maybe. So, I guess it makes sense that a big battery is pretty good. But other than that, I think it's super interesting how Samsung added the 2 new levels of encryption and security. I've never heard of a phone company doing that ever. So I think that is super cool. I'm sure they partnered with the U.S. government to, make that software. But yeah, the phone itself is awesome. Not only is it one of the best powerhouse phones on the market, but it has the new security in it, which makes it even cooler, which is a great play for the government. And the case alone looks awesome. I'm not sure what the black layer is on the inside. Maybe you can actually lock this phone with this case, which makes me think it's made out of metal. So maybe not only do they have 2 levels of software security, maybe they also have hardware security for locking this case, which makes it even more badass.
Yeah, this phone, I love it.
Yeah.
It looks amazing. It's a beast of a phone. Personal, as a lefty, that hinge is going to drive me fucking nuts.
Yeah.
I couldn't get my hand around that. There is no way. But that's okay.
I'm sure. I mean, if they're working with the government, I'm sure they made left and right hand cases. I'm sure the government got what they wanted.
Maybe. But the concerning part to me with this phone is everything's hackable.
Fair enough.
That's always in my head. You can hack anything. You can put 17 layers of encryption on it. If someone really wants in and really knows their skills, they can get in.
Yeah.
They may get caught while getting in, but they can get in.
Right.
And before, top secret data, unless it was on a laptop, you have to get into the building. You have to do a whole bunch of extra stuff to get the data. But if you put it on a phone, any fallen soldier that had this phone and had that data on them, it can be easily picked up, brought back to their base, but we have a harder time getting it.
Fair enough. But there could
And
also be a
hacked
kill
in.
switch on
There
the
could
U.S.
there's probably a
side.
kill switch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's got to be a kill switch. But if they could find a way to stop that kill switch,
Fair
I
enough.
don't know. It's sketchy, man. It makes me nervous.
Let's be realistic. Anything about the U.S. military is kind of sketchy when you don't know anything about it.
That's fair. And, well, I think it's important they have a solid device to do everything. I don't know. I don't know. I could see this technology biting us in the butt, man. I really can.
So, the more I think about it, to my knowledge, before this article, I thought the government made their own phones and devices. I didn't know they sourced out mainstream companies to do it.
Yeah, I haven't looked too much into that side of I guess we'll say the market. I never thought about searching that before. I'm kind of curious now.
Yeah.
But they have to get their stuff from somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So I wonder what they do and if, they do use some of the common companies that we use today. But now we know they're going to use the Samsung. And we know there's a potential this phone is going to be that Samsung. And it's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see 2 or 3 years down the road.
Yeah.
When this phone's actually out and being used, and we'll see what it can do, how good this encryption is.
Yeah. The S20. Forgive me, but let me just look this up real quick. Yeah, the S20, my guy, is already out.
But is this version of it out?
Yeah.
I know the phone's out, but I didn't know if the tactical one's out yet.
The tactical one, that's just for the military.
Well, yeah. But are they releasing it to the soldiers already?
I don't know. Top secret, man.
What I think would be fun with this kind of phone is to give it to people, the white hats, the hackers for our side, and see if they can get in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they've tested all that, by the way, as well. But yeah, I mean, and to answer your question on if they're available, I'm sure they are, considering there's a picture of one right here. And it makes it seem like they are out because they're saying you can't get one because they're just for the military. So I have a feeling these are out already on the battlefield.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if the government does potentially share with Samsung and then Samsung then releases how they've been. I don't know. I guess we'll see if they get the S21 down the road. We'll see if the U.S. military gets a new one. I don't know.